Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. Sensible Don, I'm ready to deliver. Well, that was, I'm not, I swear to God, I've had puberty. I've had puberty.
Again?
I want everybody to know that I am ready to deliver radio superbity after my fine, superb rant yesterday at the end of the show.
Was that a rant?
Yeah, I think that was a rant. And you know what? You know what, Don? I'm going to pick it up again today at 8:30 because I'm not finished.
You're not?
I'm not finished.
You might be and don't know it.
Do you want to hear something profound?
I want to hear
You want to hear something profound,
really
TC,
profound.
to wake you up in the morning? Justice in the life and conduct of the state is possible only as first it resides in the hearts and souls of the citizens.
You got that right.
Author unknown.
Yeah, you got that right.
You know, I battle for justice every single day. And by the way, huge victory yesterday.
Wait a minute. Before you go on, I got to tell the folks about the Bulldog. I sit here and watch you. We talk about some things off the air, and the fact that you are a deal maker. You are a people maker. You actually could make people, put them in the position that they need to be in because they've been stumped on by society so long, they come to Bulldog for justice.
Are you impressed with some of the things that I tell you off the air of these cases that I work out? And people think everything I do is in the public, and it's not true, Don.
I hate to tell them, Perry Mason has nothing on you.
And in fact, what people don't realize, there are even some well-heeled members of our community that have big-time law firms, but when they get in pickles, they call me for a confidential Bulldog, can you get me out of this pickle?
You know what? You hear this in the big meeting offices of the big firms. Hey, I don't want to say this out loud, but if you need to take care of this, call Bulldog.
Well, I appreciate your kind remarks. Today in history, the first sedan-type auto called the Hudson in 1913 went on display. I think TC still drives one.
He has one. It's down in the parking lot. That's his.
Runs like a dream.
In 1964, Surgeon General Luther Terry issued the first government report that said smoking may be hazardous to your health.
How long ago was that, boss man?
1964.
It ain't helped a whole bunch of folks.
Huh?
Oh, my goodness. We have a superb famous birthdays today.
Okay.
We do.
We want to begin our famous birthdays with Amanda Peet, who I will never look at the same after watching that one movie that she starred with Bruce Willis was a hitman, and she lifted up the window and showed her breastises to distract a criminal.
She did the right thing.
The whole 9 yards. It was called The Whole 9 Yards.
Yes.
I've been looking at Amanda Peet differently ever since. Mary Jane Blige. How do you like that?
Mary J.
Mary J. Naomi Judd.
Judd.
And by the way, Naomi Judd might be the best looking Judd.
66, and that woman is fine.
She's fine.
She's fine.
Naomi, baby.
Yes.
And then I would like for everybody to do a Tebow with me as we honor Alexander Hamilton, whose birthday is today, the first treasurer of the United States.
And the man that died for his honor.
He did. He created our capitalistic government.
He did a good job.
Or capitalist
Thank you,
society,
sir.
not capitalistic government.
Well, thank you, sir.
Alexander Hamilton, one of the greatest Americans who've ever lived. Hey, guess what the forecast is today, Don and TC?
I'm listening.
Rain.
Is this
Thursday, rain. Friday, flurries. And that's our forecast for the next 3 days.
So eat the green snow.
Do you have that one song that I asked for ready yet?
Yes, I do.
You know, last night was New Hampshire, Sensible Don. And I think after listening to Mitt Romney's speech, which was the best speech he's given, I think we might have found America's hero, Don.
We might have to work with him.
I think we might have found him.
Bottom of the barrel, that's all that's left.
You know, I listened to the speech just like I did Rick Santorum's in Iowa, and I wanted to go out and save America. It was the best speech Mitt has given. Mitt with a son named Tag plus 4 more sons. And did you see his daughter-in-laws?
Oh, I didn't see those.
Tease.
Now,
Here we go.
We can support him now.
Where have all the good men gone, Don?
Oh,
They all might be leaving New Hampshire and headed to South Carolina.
Along with Newt.
Is Mitt Romney the Hercules that Bonnie Tyler sung about? Is he the White Knight? Is he the fiery steed?
Ooh, the White Knight. Hold on. I don't know about that.
Is he the dream that we need? We need a hero, Don.
Definitely need one.
Is Mitt Romney going to be the hero?
I hate to tell you this, but
Are you holding out for a hero?
Yeah, I'm holding out. I'm still waiting.
Do you want a hero that's fast or
Quick.
slow?
Quick. One that's quick and truthful with me.
He's got to be sure. He's got to be soon. Is Romney going to be soon?
Oh, you think
He's got to be larger than life.
he's going to wrap it up before Super Tuesday?
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, it's going to be called first right here on Real Talk 1160. Bulldog Nation Radio declares Mitt Romney the GOP nominee for the 2012 presidency. It's over.
You heard it first.
It's
here.
over.
You heard it first.
It's Romney.
Now, wait a minute. This is after months ago we declared Rick Perry, and then we declared Herman Cain.
We were never for Perry.
No.
We
and then
were for
Rick
Cain.
Santorum.
It's over.
now-
He's racing on the thunder and rising with the heat. He's a Superman, TC. He swept me off my feet.
What did you see last night?
I heard a speech. I heard a speech of a great American president. His name is Mitt with a son named Tag.
Oh, Mitt Romney is the man, huh?
I'm all in for Mitt. Mitt for president. He's the nominee. It was called first right here. When CNN and Fox News call it after Florida, you remember, I called it right here.
I need to know, Bulldog, was it Mitt or was it the daughter-in-laws?
It was Mitt.
They had
Yeah, we
nothing
got to
to
be
do with it,
careful
right?
with those daughters. You know, those Bush girls. You remember how wild they were.
Jenna was the girl.
You know, those girls, they got kicked out of what, Argentina? The whole country. We would like you to leave now. Thank you very much.
Would you all like to hear after that exhausting rendition of
There, have a
I'm
drink
a
of
hero?
green water.
Oh, by the way, I got a great green water bit that I created myself. I stumbled upon it. Are you all
That's
ready?
how most people find it. They just stumble upon it.
You know what? We're too happy for a history story. Let's do humor. All right, this is good. Sitting naked in a sauna. By the way, this is PG. Suddenly there was a beeping sound. The young woman pressed her forearm and the beep stopped. The others looked at her questioningly. That was my pager, she said. I have a microchip under the skin of my arm. A few minutes later, a phone rang. A second young woman lifted her palm to her ear. When she finished, she explained, that was my mobile phone. I have a microchip in my hand. The older woman, sitting there naked in the sauna, felt very low-tech. But then she thought of an idea. Not to be outdone, she decided she had to do something just as impressive. She stepped out of the sauna and went to the bathroom. She returned with a piece of toilet paper hanging from her rear end. The others raised their eyebrows in disgust and kind of stared at her. The older woman looked back and said, well, what are you looking at? I'm getting a fax. That was sent to us by a member of Bulldog Nation. I want to thank them for saving us from yesterday's terrible joke.
You need to send that back.
The dog saying of the day, if you can't run with the big dog, stay on the porch. Hey, Rick Perry, did you hear that? Hey, Rick, did you hear that? Mr. 1%?
Stay on the porch.
1% Rick Perry.
How embarrassing is
Mr.
it?
Oops.
He's supposed to be the man.
He keeps humiliating himself more and more. And how about John Plastic Man Huntsman? 17%, third place, ticket to ride. Whatever happened to American exceptionalism? Third place, John. Yeah, baby. He's got nothing. He's got nothing. The Obama team bash person today is Marilyn Katz. She is a bundler fundraiser for Obama, and like Ayers and Dorn, was an activist in the SDS and Weather Underground in the 1960s. She also defended Ayers after his association with Obama surfaced in 2008. Marilyn Katz, one of the money bundlers for our good president. Sad to report, military death, Dustin Napier, God bless him, of London, Kentucky, died January 8th. Injury sustained with enemy small arms fire. He was out of Fort Wainwright, Alaska. Interesting. When we return, we're going to have some more fun. We're going to have pop culture. I'll go ahead and give you Shakespeare. As he was valiant, I honor him. But as he was ambitious, I slew him. From Julius Caesar. I got to ask you, what the hell's that all about? You think he's valiant, so you killed him?
Yeah, but you tried to take some I got.
Jeez. By the way, I decided to go ahead and have the word of the day is valiant, brave, and courageous. When we return, I got a great oracle, a great jackwagon, and some great pop culture with some history. On Real Talk, I think I'm slap happy. 1160.
Is it the peel?
Now, back to the Bulldog.
This is Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. We're out of the gate fast, Don. I got
to slow you down.
All right.
Got to slow you down. You mentioned weather. We just have to mention this. Cordova, Alaska. 14 feet of snow in 1 week. Let's move up there.
No.
Sensible, Don. That's an intriguing fact. 14
feet of snow in a week.
I'm also very impressed, Sensible Don, since you usually don't do any show prep, that your first show prep in 2 weeks involves the forecast in Alaska.
Oh, I had to bring that in. I'm getting practice in for the show. I got to do sometime.
Yeah, you got to do some show by yourself tomorrow.
I got to have some paperwork.
Not the whole show.
I could do that.
Oracle goes to Judge Ted Winkler for following the jury recommendation and saying, Rayshon Johnson, you shall fry.
Forever.
Yeah.
By the way, Judge Ted Winkler was on the news, and I was before Judge Robert Winkler, and I think I've upset Judge Ted Winkler. I'm trying to make up for it by making him the Oracle, because I told Judge Robert Winkler that I thought he was more handsome and smarter than Ted.
You messed up there, didn't you?
So I hope my Oracle status makes up for it with Ted. Jack Wagon today, I couldn't resist. Rick Perry. I mean, I saw where a pundit said that Mr. Oops can't recover from ridicule. He receives 1% in New Hampshire, and he thinks South Carolina's going to bet on him. Yeah, South Carolina's going to bet on you, Rick. And doesn't he look like Mr. Statue? You know, he walks around, and he's got that one jacket that he wears everywhere he goes.
Is that his leather jacket?
Oh, my gosh. Mr. Oops forevermore.
He can't recover from ridicule. That's all right.
You know what? He's probably going to lose the governor of Texas. I mean, who wants to vote for him now?
Oh, bad news.
Are you ready for some pop culture, Don?
No. We didn't get our Oracle noise or our jackwagon sound effect.
I apologize. Thank you, TC. That's why you're the producer. To Ted Winkler, the finest judge next to his brother Robert. And also to Rick Perry. We're going to put him on probation, then Jack Wagon him up, baby.
All right, now I feel better.
By the way, pop culture, there's a show that they did a test run in September called Cincinnati. How stupid of a name is that?
Any name would do.
Local talk show with Dean Muccio, or how do you pronounce that guy's name?
Muccio.
Amanda Orlando. Too many Italians. I'm just joking. I love you, Italians.
Yes, please
Jeff
take that
Picard. Dan Carroll and Randy Douglas had a 1 week test. John Keysweater of the Enquirer reports its uncertainty of its return. And the William Cunningham show, I'm going to scoop Keysweater. He says that Sean Compton said that, we don't know if it's going to be picked up. Willie's already told me it's going to be picked up.
I'm not listening to you.
This is out
The
of town,
William
TC.
Cunningham show is going to be picked up.
Out of town, TC. New York.
Case Anthony videos. Allegedly, they were hacked from her computer.
How do you hack it from her computer?
And did you also hear this? Apparently, she's fired Jose Baez.
He's gone?
All that work, and that's what happens when you're a lawyer and you give up your whole life for somebody. I always wondered, just because the way she was, did they have something going on?
Thank you very much. I'm glad you can see through
I
that.
sense something there.
And maybe he couldn't do the job.
Lindsay Lohan has been hit with a $93,000 federal tax lien. I kind of actually feel sorry for her. I got a notice yesterday from the state of Kentucky that they're claiming that I better pay this $6,000 for Bulldogs or they're going to hit me with a lien. Guess what, guys? They had an automatic withdrawal that got it all the way down to $1,000. and then I get hit with some $6,000 they've totally screwed up. I'm going to war with the revenue cabinet of the state of Kentucky.
Another win for
I will keep you posted every day. First, I take out bar counsel Linda Gosnell. She messed around with the Bulldog. Now, by the way, coming up at 8 o'clock, I'm going to tell you how I'm taking on the Edgewood Police Department.
Oh, you got
it.
Boy, do I have a story for you.
Let's go back to Lilo. $93,000 tax lien.
Yes.
From what? I mean, she didn't make any money last year.
It was her accountant. Accountants screw these things up.
She got fired from every project she was on, didn't she?
Yeah, she was going to be Miss Lovelace. Now, her photo under the picture of this on TMZ, it said, "This is I'm imagining this. This is what I think the photo said to me. I have been rode hard and put up wet." That's an old horse expression, when you ride the horse hard and put it up wet. That's not a sexual connotation. No. That's a farm boy connotation. But she looks like she's been ridden hard and put up wet.
You should not do that to a horse.
And let me tell you something else. This is an insult. Now, if this ever happens to a member of Bulldog Nation, let's say somebody's at their home or they're driving their car and they're listening to Bulldog Radio here on Real Talk 1160, and somebody, their spouse or girlfriend, hits them in the head with a hammer for listening to us, I'd feel bad.
Oh, yes.
In Florida, a woman did not like that her husband was watching Judge Judy and hit him on the head with a hammer. And she's now been charged.
What was he looking at?
I don't know, but Judge Judy, and he gets hit with a hammer.
Oh.
Judge Judy's going to get that case, too.
Ladies, yeah, she's going to get her first capital punishment. Judge Judy, I sentence you to death. By the way, I just want everybody to know, if you listen to Bulldog Nation, your spouse or your girlfriend, your female, will probably get kind of excited, turned on as you listen to Bulldog. We've been told that. We get emails and texts that say, "Oh my God, Bulldog, when I listen to you with my spouse and girlfriend, she wants to just attack me."
That's right. So bring her home.
That's what happens.
We're taking care of you.
And I think we need a feel-good song.
Please.
We don't have enough. We'll do it after the break.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our crack producer's too worried about cutting me off.
Yes, he got
to do a Jack Wagon Oracle. Oh, by the way, oh my goodness, I've left out some things on pop culture's not done yet.
Yeah, you started talking about taking
my
down
stepson
Gosnell.
Cameron, right? I objected to this because I just don't think he should go to L.A. for 4 months. But he's gone to L.A. for 4 months. And I miss him already. He's a good kid. He was working at the law office as one of our gophers. And he had these real fancy dreadlocks. He has dreadlocks. He went to see Jimmy Kimmel show his first day out there. He's staying with one of his buddies who works out there. He's walking down the street. True story. Reno 911, they're shooting a scene, and they go, "Hey, we'd like to have you as an extra." He had to sign a release and everything. And him and his dreadlocks are in a scene from 911. I think they probably got him playing a stoner or something, with his dreadlocks. But anyway, he's going to be a movie star now.
But did he not call
as an extra in Reno 911, which is a funny, funny show.
Did he not call you for advice first?
No, he just texted his mother, who texted me.
He didn't have you look over the contract before he signed it?
No, but when he gets rich and famous as a movie star, I'm living off him. The hell with this radio show.
These stories happen all the time.
Pat Buchanan has been suspended indefinitely by MSNBC, allegedly over white supremacy, race issues. How come race is what always gets? You can say anything about anybody, but you get the race issue.
That's the third
you're out of here.
Sensitivity.
Now get this: Skechers. Skechers are those pants. Kim Kardashian. I think are they pants? Or are they shoes? Skechers are shoes. My bad. I knew that. Skechers are shoes.
Kim testing everybody. Keeping you on your toes.
I was testing you. Kim Kardashian for the Super Bowl commercial. She was in it last year. They have replaced the skank with a French bulldog for this year. A bulldog takes down Kardashian. Down goes Kardashian. Down goes Kardashian to a French bulldog. Now I got a question. I'm familiar with an American bulldog. I'm familiar with an English bulldog. What the hell does a French bulldog
I want to know.
Try to kiss you with an open mouth?
I got to see this one. I got to see this one, Bulldog.
And this past year, DVD sales, except Kim Kardashian getting nailed by Kelly or whatever that guy's name is, slid 2% in 2010. Dropped off. Oh. And let's do history real quick. On October 28, 1983, Chicagoans were shocked to learn that an assassin had shot to death their mayor, Carter Harrison. One of those deeply affected by the shooting was a Polish priest named Kazimierz Zeglin. He became consumed with the idea of designing a practical bulletproof material that might save innocent lives in the future. 4 years later, Father Zeglin succeeded in coming up with the world's first truly practical bulletproof vest, light enough to wear under clothing, but strong enough to stop a bullet. It consisted of water-thin steel plating sandwiched inside layers of tightly woven silk. He first tested on a cadaver, then on a Great Dane, and finally on several dramatic public demonstrations on himself. It worked every time. Zeglin left the priesthood to found the Zeglin Bulletproof Cloth Company. As part of his promotional efforts, he contacted the White House in 1901 to offer President McKinley a vest. The president's personal secretary expressed a genuine interest but said the matter couldn't be considered until after the president's trip to the Pan American Exposition in Buffalo, New York. He shouldn't have waited. It was in Buffalo that assassin Leon Zolgos walked up to McKinley and shot him twice at point-blank range. Had the president been wearing the vest, he would have lived, and Zeglin would have become famous. Instead, McKinley died 8 days later, and Theodore Roosevelt became president. Zeglin never achieved the level of success he sought, and history was left with an intriguing what if. You've never heard that story,
Never
have you?
heard that story.
I never have either.
Think about that.
That's a great story.
If they had those vests in the First World War, the lives we would have saved.
That's right. Why don't we have bulletproof vests?
Why not?
Sensible Don and I have to wear them because
Absolutely.
all those crazy fans.
Bulletproof and stab-proof.
That's why I remain anonymous.
Do we have the feel-good song ready now?
We have the feel-good song ready. How about if we save it for after the news break?
We are. And then when we come back, we're also going to have life observations. I've got some good ones. And then sports. And then politics. And then economics. All superbity on Real Talk 1160. A hero, Don. We need a hero.
We're going to go find one.
By the way, I got to share this with you. My daughter Erica, after 2 weeks at Chase Law School, where she's on a scholarship, she graduated from college with 3.9. She said she didn't know she wanted to be a lawyer. You know, a lot of the other students kind of intimidated her. They were all competitive, and she's just not that way. Well, the grades came out, Sensible Don. And let me see. Let's go over Erica's grades. The Bulldog's daughter. First grade that came out, legal research. A.
All right.
Second grade came out, civil procedure. A.
Uh-oh.
Third grade came out, property.
And?
A+, top grade in the class.
Trifecta. Guess what?
Fourth grade comes out, contracts. She was worried about contracts. B+. I mean, this is my little girl, Sensible Don.
You better watch your back.
Does that make you feel good?
That makes me proud. It makes me feel proud. I think that she'll be taking over the law firm much sooner than originally thought. Guess how many A's? Guess how many A's I got in the whole.
Can we count them all in
Three.
Three. All in one finger.
She got them in one semester. Here's our feel-good song of the day by White Plains. My baby loves lovin'. We're returning to the roots of the feel-good songs. None of that rap stuff. I love this song. Does your baby love love?
Yes, she does.
And she know how to use it, Don?
Yes, she does. Experience.
Check their hairdos out, man. Check their hairdos out.
Oh,
I wouldn't get caught dead with that haircut.
Beatles on. You never had a Beatles cut?
Yeah.
I thought all white boys had a Beatles cut.
That's a Beatles cut?
Yeah, it's a Beatles cut.
Your hair should never turn in. Never turn in. Yeah.
Does that tell something about you?
Jeez, well, man, don't turn a lot of hair in.
Oh.
Look, we're all bald guys, and the film guy looks like Julius Caesar haircut there.
Look at him. He looks like he's about 15 years old.
Caesar haircut.
He actually told me he's married. Can you believe that?
And coming up at 8 o'clock, I got some legal stuff for you. Now, my life's observations. I got a pet peeve, Don. I got a lot of pet peeves.
Yes, you have.
One of my pet peeves is when people say, I know you're busy. God, I hate that. I'm never too busy to respond to an email or phone call or a good case. Never.
Yeah, I work for you.
Jeez, by the way, no dogs. I don't want any bad cases. And I got another. I've lost 30 pounds. And, when you lose weight, there's a lot of people that get suspicious, like, why is he losing weight?
Yes,
Why is she losing weight for something? Well, I just want to tell you, I was losing weight because I was a fat ass. No ulterior motive there, you know.
First thing they think you got the slim disease.
But let me tell you what my wife has been doing, all right? The other day, she goes to the grocery store, and I said, I want cashews and I want chocolate. I ate a whole Hershey chocolate bar, and not a small chocolate bar, one of those super duper ones, and about a half a can of cashews. I gained a pound. So yesterday, I'm like, I'm getting back on track. Well, I ate a salad for lunch, and I ate something my wife cooked for dinner. It was very good, some Italian dish. And then last night, after I worked out and ran on a treadmill very fast for 30 minutes, and I sit down to do my second shift of work, my wife makes me a cream soda float. Oh, my God.
Yes.
I mean, other than chocolate cake and chocolate sundaes, it's hard to top a cream soda float. I think she wants to make me fat, Don.
You think so?
Keep us away from those groupies.
Box cream soda and Uncle
But you know
Al.
what? It's not my looks that bring the groupies downstairs waiting for the autographs. It's our voices.
You think so?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's our voices, Don. It's our
First
voices.
thing they ask for, where's TC?
They fall in love with our voices. In sports, are you ready for sports, TC?
Wait a
Go
minute,
ahead.
I got a life
observation
that I want to point out.
Please share.
Bulldog made a comment earlier about the fact that he might quit radio if he gets his daughter or gets some money or whatever. You know that's a lie. You're not leaving here.
I mean,
you
my
don't know how.
stepson becomes a movie star.
Yeah, right, yeah. You would never leave here, Bulldog. You do not know how to do anything else but radio.
You know what?
Who would talk about you on the air?
That is a good one. That is witty and wise. That is witty and wise. That was good stuff, baby. Who would talk about you on the air? Well, Mark Amazon might in a negative way.
Oh yeah, well, now see that's your bad imaginary friend.
By the way, when I go on my rant, you think to yourself, well, Bulldog's out of control. Well, one of our founding fathers gave a little speech one time, and they thought he was out of control. On the birthday of Alexander Hamilton, everybody do a Tebow for Alexander.
Did you see that picture in Sports Center when they did that?
Yeah. And sports. On sports. The Red Sign, Ryan Matson. You know who this cat is? For one year, $10 million, 2.89 ERA over the past 5 seasons. He pitched for the Phillies. He was their closer. Saved 32 of 34 chances.
Wow.
And you know what his nickname is?
What is it?
It's called the Mad Dog. So the Mad Dog will be interviewed by the Bulldog.
Your cousin, huh?
By the way, if I wasn't called the Bulldog, I'd want to be called the Mad Dog. And some people think the Bulldog is a mad dog.
Yes, they do.
Jay Gruden, we announced yesterday he was getting some inquiries for head coaching jobs. Jay says, I'm staying a Bengal. I have no idea why, but he is.
I heard he was going to Tampa Bay.
Brian Kelly from the Notre Dame receives a 2-year extension at Notre Dame. I noticed a better team this year, faster, more speed, tough schedule next year. They start out playing Navy in Dublin, Ireland. How cool is that?
That's nice.
They're going to Ireland.
Trip to Ireland.
They're going to Ireland.
Play
And
golf.
then they're going to play Purdue, Michigan State, Michigan, USC, Stanford, BYU, Oklahoma, Miami, Pitt, Boston College, and Wake Forest.
What game do they
So where'd
rest
the
them?
Aussie come from?
That was Irish. That was not Australian.
Oh, you sure?
And then the UC football ranked 25th in the last AP poll and 21st in the USA football.
Which is good.
Congratulations to our Bearcats. The Buckeyes were upset by the Fighting Illini, 79-74. Jay Paterno leads the Penn State staff. Big shocker there. The Raiders, their new GM fires head coach Jackson. Says, get out of here. The NBA, Wade returns, but the Heat falls to Golden State in overtime. Louisville loses to Providence. They got spanked 90-59. The Kansas City Chiefs, Romeo Crennel receives the head coaching job. Wazoo Sports files bankruptcy. They broadcast and webcast high school sports. I have a theory, Sensible Don.
Listen.
Unlike college and pro sports, anyone who cares about a high school sporting event is at the game.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Steve Jarnicki, did you hear that? I mean, I'm serious.
That's true.
Everybody who cares about the high school game is at the game.
If you had a
That's a
kid
good
at a high
point.
school
That's a good
playing,
point.
you would be there. TC would be there.
LSU, Alabama, both they claim are loaded again for next year. The Mavericks visited the White House on Monday. There's no word on the Nowinski-Obama game of horse.
Who?
I understand it was canceled because Nowinski insisted, hey, Mr. President, I'll start off playing horse. Can we play can we play socialist, radical, Islamic, extremist?
You said Nowinski, not Lewinsky. Okay.
He didn't like to be. Can we, Mr. President? Can we play Muslim?
I am not a Muslim.
UK at Auburn tonight, Channel 64, 8 p.m. My wife will be happy. You hear that, sweetie, if you're listening? Of course, she never does. No. Redhawks tonight at 7 p.m. versus Kent State. By the way, my wife and I call each other Sweet Love. Yeah. Sensible Don, you know how goofy looks we're in, like, let's say we're in a Macy's. Right. And she's looking at something, and I say, hey, Sweet Love, come here. Or she says, hey, people look at us like, you guys make us puke. It just kind of stuck. If she calls me Eric, I know she's mad.
Oh, you got a problem, huh?
All right, Xavier, tonight at 7 p.m. versus Duquesne. That was a famous fort George Washington could tell you about during the French and Indian War. CBS Sports Network at Cintas Center. NBA, the Wizards finally won one. They beat the Raptors. And how about this? Trey Griffey, Ken Griffey. I covered it all. I'll bet you Picaro and those guys don't even cover this.
Even know.
Trey Griffey, featured in USA today. Standout receiver. He played in the Armor All-Star game. Standout receiver in high school. He may play defense in college. By the way, he's taller than his dad.
Sounds good.
There's only 1 minute left, so we won't get into legal. But when we come back from legal, we got some good stuff. Go ahead and promote yourself, Don, in this minute. We'll call promotion.
You want to talk to me about some Bulldog kids? Facebook, Sensible Don Lewis at Facebook, or Sensible Don at yahoo.com, and we could discuss this man sitting across the table from me.
I want everybody to email me at eric@ericdeters.com. If you need a lawyer, you can text me also at 859-250-2527. You can call me at 859-BULLDOG. Remember, I'm a lawyer first. You can check out about 50 videos on ericdeters.com. And boy, am I a busy lawyer, but I'm never, ever, I don't care if it's a good case. I'm never too busy. Hell, I got a call last night, car accident case. An 8-year-old girl was struck by a car speeding. The insurance company said, you don't need a lawyer. The woman was smart enough to say, she told the insurance company, she said, I'm calling the Bulldog.
I'm a
the
Bulldog,
insurance company adjuster passed out in fear on Real Talk 1160.
The Simon Kenton Pioneers are back in action tonight. They take on number 1 ranked Dixie Heights. Steve Jarnicki will have the pregame starting at 7:06. Tip-off at 7:30 right here on Real Talk 1160. And now, back to the Bulldog.
This is Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. And joining us, we forgot about him.
Again?
We forgot about him.
I feel left out.
But Dr. Lawrence Kurtzman from the Kurtzman Plastic Surgery outfit in Kenwood is here.
Plastic man.
There we go.
So what have you been up to, Dr. Kurtzman? Have you been Botoxing women?
I have, and men.
Oh, my goodness.
Been working away.
Some of those metrosexual kind of guys?
Well, yeah. All
Who
kinds of guys.
Who cares? If a metrosexual gets run over by a bus, I don't care. Call me.
You'll defend them, too?
I'll be honest with you. If you're a radical Islamic extremist and get ran over by a bus, call me. Damn ambulance chaser.
You'll send them in for some Botox?
And I'll send them over. Hey, this scar here needs some work. Well, listen, by the way, this is funny because the doctor just came in at the right time because it's our legal segment. Yes. Legal segments make doctors nervous.
I'm sweating already.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're not saying that this doctor's a bad guy. We're just saying that he deviated from the standard of care for a plastic surgeon under similar circumstances. I'm just joking, Doc.
Is that your plea to the jury?
On legal front, the U.S. Supreme Court on Tuesday, Tuesday, I'm a day late, yesterday, will weigh the government's power to regulate profanity and nudity on broadcast television in a challenge to the long-standing filthy word policy that George Carlin started on his monologue. With their free speech rights, that issue, the major television networks, they want more. You know why? To keep up with cable.
You have to.
How does NBC, CBS, and ABC keep up with the shows that are on cable?
They cannot compete.
They can't. And the reason is because the FCC governs what is broadcast.
Right.
And goes on cable lines. It's not broadcast technically.
Yeah, why can't they just, after 9 o'clock, let them do what the hell they want? Give me a break. Everybody's got cable now anyway.
In my personal opinion, they should be able to do what they want, whenever they want. All you have to do is have the ability to turn it off.
The networks are comparing apples to oranges. That's the thing, though. They're a totally different animal.
Hey, speaking of oranges, a California woman has filed a suit against the makers of Tropicana orange juice,
Love that stuff.
accusing the company of falsely advertising its product as 100% pure and natural. The lawsuit claims the orange juice is actually put through some extensive processing, adding aromas and flavors that change its essential nature and gives it a longer shelf life. Tropicana charges premium prices for the supposedly 100% natural juice, the suit states, but is violating consumer fraud laws. Give me a break.
On the bottle, it says from concentrate.
Some of them do. Some say all natural. But whatever happened to Anita Bryant?
Long time ago.
Well, let me tell you about Anita Bryant. God
Tell
love
the
her.
gays.
Okay, she didn't get knocked out because of a race issue. She had a gay issue.
It took her completely out.
You heard the joke about the blonde that was in the grocery store staring at that can of Tropicana.
No,
It said concentrate.
that's pretty good. I've heard that joke. That's a good joke. And ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, also on the orange juice front, futures in orange juice soared to 9.7% increase after the FDA says some Brazilian imports contain fungicide. Drink green water. It doesn't contain fungicide.
That's right. It's all natural. No artificial aromas.
Hey, it might be green, but it doesn't contain fungicide. Too funny, too funny.
A mushroom walks into a bar. Bartender says, "Get out of here. We don't serve your kind." The mushroom says, "Why not? I'm a fun guy."
God, geez.
Oh, my.
What he's been
TC's on fire this morning.
Put me out.
By the way, we've been handed a piece of paper by Patty Eucalyptus, our top sale. You know what? We have a staff of 10 salespeople here, and she beats them all. She says we got a new client called Entrust America. They're into the identity theft business. And Me Salon by Cara, located at Harper's Point in Montgomery. By car. Oh, by car. Cara. Oh, let's do this again. Me Salon by Cara. Is that sexy enough?
Nice.
Me Salon by Cara. Wait till I meet her. Do we get to meet her?
Is she going to do all
Hold on
three
a
of their
second.
hair on the
Hold
video podcast?
Hold on a second. Before we talk about her, let me text my wife and see if she's awake.
Wait a minute. Did we get some kind of hair deal on trade or something?
I think that.
Oh,
What a deal there.
also, on a legal front, a group of Montana farmers has filed a class action lawsuits against MF Global, that's John Corzine's company, over money allegedly stolen from their personal accounts. They say it's 38,000 people affected. God, I should have got in on that one. Charlie Lester, if you're listening, let's prepare a Kentucky class action lawsuit against MF Global. All right. Also on the legal front, boy, do I got some good personal things to share with the American jury. First and foremost, there's a guy named Jared Doolin who goes to trial tomorrow in Boone County, and he is charged with attempted murder and felony wanton endangerment for firing a shotgun to scare off a guy that came on his property without his permission and was beating up one of his friends. So tomorrow, the Bulldog will be defending homeowners' rights, gun rights, and a great American. And they want to put him away. His life's in my hand, and I will defend him vigorously, and I expect a Boone County jury to acquit.
looking for a win.
I'm looking for a win. And because of that trial, I think they thought that I'd cave because they know I do radio till 9. But no. I will leave here sometime between 8 and 8:30, and Sensible Don and John Bick and Alex will finish up the show. Hey, you should come back Friday. Be part of the team at 8:30. But Sensible Don, can you handle it for 30 minutes to 45 minutes?
30, 45. We did 45 before while you ran out of gas.
That is true.
You're not supposed to bring that up again.
Now, yesterday, in a huge victory, the Bengal Sarah Jones, who sued the Dirty.com for saying online and promoting online that she had gonorrhea and chlamydia, which she doesn't have. It was terrible. Helped wreck her life. We are going to trial on June the 4th. The judge overruled their motion to dismiss, and I got this little guy named Nick Ritchie individually, and the Dirty.com, the Dirty World LLC, will stand trial June the 4th, and the Bulldog is on the case.
We talking about civil, right?
You ought to come over and watch that one.
I would like
By
to
the
see
way, if you're not doing anything, Bulldog Nation, tomorrow and Friday in Boone Circuit Court, I will be trying that case, and you're welcome to come.
See a real performance.
It's a free. You get to see me in action, the greatest trial lawyer in America.
Will Sarah be at the trial for her? Will she be there?
Yes.
I'm
Now, speaking of Sarah, as everybody knows, there was a story that everybody ran with that an allegation that maybe she had had an inappropriate relationship with a student, and it was just too much. I mean, on top of this thing, she quit and resigned and everything. Well, the Edgewood police are out of control. They're unbelievable. Let me tell you what the Edgewood police did yesterday. They confiscated the computers and laptops and whatnot of the family members, to look, and there's nothing on them. And her sister, Sarah's sister, needed to go up to the police station to check out her laptop. She needs it for class. So they let her do that. Well, it's called an SRO, a school resource officer, after hours, went up there with her because her mother is a principal, to kind of just so she wasn't going to be nervous. The Edgewood police Detective Inman, contacts the superintendent of the Kenton County Schools to complain that this SRO went up there. Now, it has absolutely nothing to do with the allegations against Sarah. And this detective is trying to cause misery and wreak havoc on this family. So you know what I did? I called Detective Inman, left a voicemail. I like leaving voicemails where I tell them, I mean every word I'm about to say, and you can transcribe this and release it to the press if you want. But I left a voicemail for her, I left a voicemail to the chief, and I left a voicemail to the prosecutor. And I'm going to sue that detective for interfering with Sarah's mother's contractual relationship with the school district. I mean, can you imagine? It has nothing to do, and a detective says, I think that's improper that school resource officer went up to the police. It's incredible. I mean, it gets better. The kid and the parents don't want nothing to do with this. They have been told, leave him alone. She went up there last Friday and tried to talk to him, knowing that it was wrong.
The officer did.
Yeah. I mean, it's incredible. They are so desperate. It's incredible. You know what it is? There's people out there dealing heroin. Right. Hey, Edgewood, go after the heroin dealers in your neighborhood.
There's people out there doing murder.
Jeez, oh, Pete. I mean, Sarah's resigned. She's gone. They're obsessed. Oh, it might involve sex. Oh, sex.
The bad word.
On Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. I just want everybody to know that if you do not subscribe for free to my newsletter, all you got to do is email me at eric@ericdeters.com. And let me tell you what my newsletter is if you've never seen it. It's like an online newspaper. And to be candid with you, it covers everything from sports to some fun things, from politics to the economy, even science, world news. And what it is, it's a collaboration of my thoughts as well as all the news stories from like 20 different sources that I corral and then pull out the best. And instead of having links, I summarize them nice and short. So you can basically get all of the world's, nations, local news that counts quick and easy. And there's not pop-up ads or anything else. The only ad is in the very beginning. Who sponsors it is Ropke Automotive, who we love. John Bick will be in here tomorrow, but Ropke Automotive is the sponsor of my newsletter. But and he also advertises here on this radio station. And also, Sensible Don is going to have to appear by video. But my next comedy show, Bulldog Raw, is Valentine's Day, February 14th at Ticket Sports Cafe in Covington. Bulldog Raw.
Is that set up?
And there'll be a video a video appearance from Florida by Sensible Don.
And I have to make the introduction.
You know, Eddie Murphy did a comedy special years ago called Eddie Murphy Raw.
Did he, huh?
Yeah.
And that was his downfall.
Downfall my butt.
That was great. It was hilarious. And it was pretty raw.
Yes. Well, so am I. All right, here we go. Politics. Mitt Romney last night. He won New Hampshire. 39%. DePaul's 23%. Huntsman 17%. Gingrich 10. Santorum 9. Rick Perry got 1. It's time for Huntsman. He claims his 17% is the ticket to ride. And Rick Perry, Mr. Oops, who claims he's going to win South Carolina. It's time for them to exit. Romney's the first candidate for the GOP to ever, as a non-incumbent, to win Iowa and New Hampshire. Romney's victory speech was the best speech he's given the entire campaign. You know, when I think about the fact he ran for president last time, he's ran for president this time. They've had 15 debates. They got the 16th debate coming up. You know, Romney has got his game on. You know, he's polished. Now he still can have a slip up like he did the other day. That's normal, but Romney is battle tested, and his message that he delivered last night, the message that he delivered in his speech, if you had your eyes closed, a conservative would have to be loving all that. And you know what, Dr. Kurtzman from the Kurtzman Plastic Surgery and Sensible Don and TC, I thought of something on the way in here about the flip-flops and the past and everything else. I wouldn't want anybody to judge me when I run for president in 2016 or 2020 on everything that I've said or every position that I've taken. You know, you do change for whatever reason, and trust me, I know a lot of it's political expediency. But you know what? As somebody who's been involved in politics and ran campaigns, I've learned this. Voters don't give a damn if you switch positions. I ran against a guy. For my one race, I ran against a guy who was going to be the Republican nominee, and my opponent switched from the Democratic Party to the Republican Party. Nobody cared. In other words, I was thinking, oh, he's a fake Republican. He's just switching because he knows he can't win as a Democrat. Voters don't care. When you change a position, they don't care. Here's another thing voters don't care about. They don't care about, as long as they don't perceive you as buying the race, they don't care if you got a lot of money. And when people say, oh, he's got a lot of money, he's got a lot of money, they don't care. They don't care. And it cracks me up. It cracks me up that we have Newt Gingrich attacking Mitt Romney. What a hypocrite about having too much money and being for the rich guy. Has everybody forgotten Newt had a $500,000 credit line at Tiffany's? He just had one of his buddies throw in $20 million commitment to a super PAC for his advantage. Newt Gingrich made money consulting for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. He owns businesses and everything else. For Newt Gingrich to be attacking, and there's another thing, and Romney alluded to it in his speech very well, and he's being above the fray. He's not taking the bait. How messed up is it for all of these conservatives that act, you know, Santorum and Perry and Huntsman and Newt act like they're conservative, and then they are in capitalist, and they attack a guy who made his living with capitalism, taking over business. We're going to fail anyway, and sure, he made money, and they're calling it vulture capitalism and all that. You know what? I find it pretty incredible. We got Republicans who claim to love God. And by the way, remember my 3 pillars, God, the Constitution, and capitalism? Romney said in his speech, this is one nation under God, and he emphasized it. He talked about capitalism. Alexander the Great's birthday today. He'd be proud of Romney. Your comments, Dr. Kurtzman.
Yeah, it looks like Romney is on the uptick. He's on the move. I think he's looking very presidential. I think he's got a lot of backing now. And I think probably after South Carolina, things will be pretty decided.
You know, we've already called the race here on the radio station. We called it earlier. We have declared that Mitt Romney is the GOP nominee for president. And we've called it first. We are the first to call it.
Voters,
you heard it here first.
It's not
then the next question will be, who's he going to pick for his VP?
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up because I made a note to myself. You know what? If you go down all of the people he's ran against, you know, Michelle Bachmann, you know, woman, would satisfy the Tea Party folks. I tell you, I think it'd be funny for him to pay. Ron Paul. I mean, he's a crotchety old guy, but he's got money. He's got the most nationwide organization. It would satisfy the conservatives. But if you look at it from a regional standpoint, Rubio makes sense. You satisfy the Tea Party. You satisfy the Florida. You grab Florida. Santorum makes sense.
Santorum makes a lot of sense.
You got Pennsylvania, and you satisfy. Palenti, boy, he's sucking up to Romney wherever he goes, but that doesn't make any sense. I think he needs to pick a conservative, and if he can do a conservative and pick up a state, I think that would be awesome. And I think that picking up Pennsylvania or Florida makes great sense.
Those are two great states to pick up. I mean, Pennsylvania, bring in the conservatives, bring it in with Santorum.
And despite what Rubio says, Rubio would do it. Rubio would do it if he was asked. By the way, they're all going to South Carolina. All the momentum. Nikki Haley, the governor of South Carolina, is for Romney. Romney's got all the establishment people. The next vote is January 21st. He's been running ads in Florida for a long time. And guess what, folks? Unlike Iowa, unlike New Hampshire, Florida's a big state. You cannot hit all those diners, so money matters. These companies that Romney apparently took over at Bain, they were failing anyway. I still think that Newt Gingrich is a hypocrite for attacking. Some more things, observations. Santorum has lost all his momentum already from Iowa. It's over. Huntsman, he spends all his time in New Hampshire and loses by 20 points. He's done. Ron Paul's the only one with money, organization, and staying power. And by the way, his speech last night was great. They're scared of us because of the status quo. And he talked about the love of liberty and everything else. Ron Paul gave a great speech last night. Conservative, regardless of his past positions, Romney's speech could have been given by the head of the Tea Party. Tim Tebow, it was announced that he is not going to give any endorsements. Romney's sons, I make fun of Tag's names, and Romney's family seems a little too perfect, but maybe it's because they are. I learned long ago you don't want to dislike people or judge people because they're not like you, especially if you want them to like you. It goes both ways. I mean, you can't, judge the book by the cover, then expect them to not judge you by the cover. And although they're a little country club looking, they seem like great sons. And I can say this, they obviously seem like a straight, honest, and non-corrupt. One thing about Romney, I don't think we're going to see anything coming out in his background that's mutt-like. I mean, Romney and Ann Romney and their kids seem to be straight up. The debate again in South Carolina on January the 16th, and then the vote is on the 21st. Comment, Sensible Don.
You say that the voters don't care. It's not that the voters don't care. The voters don't understand or know the position of these candidates. If you take this point, Newt Gingrich, they drug all this stuff up from the past that's been ran by us time and time again. Some of those people thought it was new stuff.
Yeah, but it wasn't. And by the way, I'm going to pick up on my rant the last part of the show.
Ron Paul is the only true conservative in this field, but you couldn't run him as vice president because he wouldn't know how to keep his mouth shut.
I can tell you this about Ron Paul, and I have. At one point, he kind of scared me a little bit.
Yes.
He doesn't scare me anymore. He's not. He wouldn't bring home all those troops from all those places. His advisor would say, "Hey, come on, we're going to stay out of wars, fine, but we can't bring home the troops in South Korea."
You make the promise, you have to keep the promise.
And none of them ever do. When we return, more radio superbity with the Bulldog. Lawrence Kurtzman from Lawrence Kurtzman Plastic Surgery, TC and Don on Real Talk 1160.
Make sure you catch Dennis Miller noon to 2 today right here on Real Talk 1160. And now back to the Bulldog.
I'm going to throw it right back at you, TC, on Real Talk 1160. We need to hear your Green Water commercial.
This portion of our show brought to you by Green Water. Green Water introducing new high-performance Green 316. Endorsed by Tim Tebow and made by God over 1 billion years ago. Available at Queen Kick.
I like that. That was a good one. But you know what? That's a great idea. Trademark 316, the drink.
Green 316.
You're going to come up with these numbers like, what's that one exercise? P690, P. I mean, how do they come up with these names?
As long as they work.
8-minute abs, 6-minute abs.
Speaking of vice presidents, Jim from Verona, Bulldog Nation member, had another good suggestion. is Mike Huckabee. You know, conservative Southern Baptist preacher, no scandals. You know what I'm saying? You know, I would think that Romney is going to want somebody because just the way he is, he's not going to want anybody that can even think about a sniff of a scandal. See, I'm the kind of guy who could give a damn. I'd take Sensible Don and his all the scandals rolled out. I'd say, I still want him as my vice president. Leave Don alone.
Okay, Kane.
Well, the scandals from the vice president have really, really hurt people in the past.
Right.
I mean, it seems like
Also,
every
their
time.
stupidity, like Dan Quayle looking like a 3-year-old out there when Bush announced him on the tarmac. Dan Quayle was like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
Why did Bush pick Quayle?
Well, he actually got elected.
Yeah, but you know what? Quayle hurt him.
Quayle hurt him, and I
Quayle
think
hurt
that
him
had
in
a
the
lot to do with the
re-election.
re-election. Absolutely.
Benson nailed him, man. Quayle looked like a little. He still looks like a little frat boy.
And that was one of the great lines of all time. I knew John Kennedy, and
Yeah, he's a friend of mine.
And
You know, that
I
was
say.
the rehearsed
Well, then look-
line that he had used before.
Yeah, they just don't research the vice presidential candidates enough. I mean, look at Thomas Eagleton, Sarah Palin. I mean, just time and time again, they shoot themselves in the foot.
I got a couple very sad pieces of news to report on the economy. Say it ain't so. That's all I got to say. As they prepare for bankruptcy, I always preferred Hostess to Dolly Madison and Little Debbie. No, those aren't women. Those are bakery products. Cupcakes, the chocolate ones, the orange ones. They actually had mixed breed ones. They had like orange and chocolate mixed. Twinkies, pies. I like the apple pie, the lemon pie. I prefer butternut over Hostess's Wonder Bread. But they have 19,000 employees, $2 billion in sales, and they're going to have to file bankruptcy. What are we going to do?
Are they going under?
Are the Hostess thrift shops going to close?
Eat more Twinkies.
No.
Everybody do your part and go out now and buy some Hostess cupcakes.
And Twinkies is the doctor.
Rumors are Segman is on the ledge of a tall building.
So wait, $2 billion in sales and they declaring bankruptcy?
Yeah, I almost forgot. You know what else they sold? Ho-hos. No, not the women of the night. And ding-dongs.
Dogs.
I always thought there was something suggestive about buying a ding-dong from a Hostess.
Oh, don't forget the snowball.
Oh, gotta love those snowballs.
Oh, the
Nice-
snowballs.
Nice pink ones.
Yes.
They're all natural, like
Oh,
green
stop,
water.
Stop it. Stop talking about pink snowballs. Now,
They're
let's-
tastier than green snowballs.
Let's have a round table here. Little Debbie, Dolly, or Hostess, TC?
Hostess all the way. I was a Twinkie kid.
Hostess. from day
Hostess.
It is. I mean, Hostess was just tastes better.
Hostess
I'll
is
be
the
honest with you,
mostest.
Dolly, Little Debbie's the bottom of the, or I would give it Archers. Yeah.
One. They start coming down when they start frying.
Hostess even
Twinkies.
has good chocolate covered donuts.
Right.
Yeah.
They do. Absolutely.
But you
in a
know
bag.
what? We need more ding dongs and snowballs in this world.
There was a guy in the marketing department that was in charge of coming up with the names.
I don't know.
You know, I'll call that one a ding dong.
Ho ho!
The same people that wrote all that music in the 60s.
Let's face it, man. They were just on acid. Because come on. You look at a ho ho. How is that a ho ho instead of a chocolate roll?
Somebody had the munchies, said, you know what, I want some cake, I want some creamy filling, and I want some chocolate. Yeah, that's it. And they rolled
And you
it
know
up.
what's really funny is a ding dong and a ho ho is the same stuff. One is in a circle and one is in a roll. And actually, the roll should be in the ding dong, and the other one should have been a ho ho. Why do they call it the chocolate hockey puck?
Did they have yodels? Remember yodels?
I don't remember those.
Yodels, that's familiar.
Yodel-a-hee-hoo? You know, that was the ones that was rolled up.
And then I have more economic news and science and whatnot on the blog and newsletter, even some world news, but it's too boring for radio. Volkswagen, they were trying to merge with Porsche, but it's not going to work. So now Volkswagen might buy Porsche. Now, can you imagine a Volkswagen and Porsche procreating and having a car? What would it be? A BMW?
No.
I mean, what's a Volkswagen and a Porsche? If they have a car, what would it be?
Volkswagen.
A business too big to fail.
Volkswagen
A
Beetle.
business too big to fail.
Illegitimate.
By the way, sales gal Patty brought in a picture of a French Bulldog ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, if you find a French bulldog walking stray, take it immediately to the pound where it'll be exterminated. We need to end this breed of dog.
I think he's cute.
Oh, my God.
Love his hat.
Can't stand the competition
Jeez.
from another
Yeah,
bulldog.
he can't stand it. I love his hat.
Oh.
It's too cute.
Yeah, you call that cute.
Are you going to show that on the video pod?
No.
No, not even.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, why not? You already got it already?
He already got it. All right.
Now listen, my history story was so good I've been asked to repeat it this hour and not say it so fast. I'll say it with dramatic flair. On October 28th, 1893, Chicagoans were shocked to learn that an assassin had shot to death their mayor, Carter Harrison. See, they were shocked because this was before Al Capone. One of those deeply affected by the shooting was a Polish priest named Kazimierz Zeglin. He became consumed with the idea of designing a practical bulletproof material that might save innocent lives in the future. Now, see, in a different time, instead of focusing on choir boys, they focused on inventions. Priests used to focus on inventions instead of pedophilia. 4 years later, no response from the peanut gallery here. I hope somebody out there in Radioland laughed. 4 years later, Father Zeglin succeeded in coming up with the world's first truly practical bulletproof vest, light enough to wear under clothing, but strong enough to stop a bullet. It consisted of water-thin steel plating sandwiched between layers of tightly woven silk. He first tested it on a cadaver, then on a Great Dane, and finally in several. I bet that Great Dane went, "Whoop!" in several dramatic public demonstrations on himself. It worked perfectly every time. Now, TC and Don and Dr. Kurtzman from Kurtzman Plastic Surgery, if I came in here with a new and improved bulletproof vest and said, "I'd like to test this, will you put it on?" Would you not say, "Bulldog, I'm sorry. Put it on a French bulldog and fire away"?
No,
I wouldn't let you guys test a freaking bulletproof vest on me.
Well, you'd get a whole lot more complaints from PETA than you would about putting it on Don or myself.
right.
When you think about it, how brave are like pilots that like test drive or test fly new planes? It's like, oh, we think this plane, like you're the first guy to take a plane up. How do they know it's going to work?
Will it stay up?
That's why they can't
Couldn't
get life
pay me enough
insurance.
money. Zeglin left the priesthood to found the Zeglin Bulletproof Cloth Company. You know what? You didn't have a good marketing person. The Zeglin Bulletproof Cloth Company. Why not just call Zeglin 316 Company? As part of his promotional efforts, he contacted the White House in 1901 to offer President McKinley a vest. The president's personal secretary, this is the typical things like Loretta and Maria and Becca would mess up for me, expressed a genuine interest, but said the matter couldn't be considered until after the president's trip to the Pan American Exposition in Buffalo, New York. He shouldn't have waited. It was in Buffalo that the assassin Leon Zolgas walked up to McKinley and shot him twice at point-blank range. Had the president been wearing the vest, he would have lived and Zeglin would have become famous. Instead, McKinley died 8 days later and Theodore Roosevelt became president. Zeglin never achieved the level of success he thought, and history was left with an intriguing what if. The other interesting thing is he had Secret Service, and the Secret Service, this tells you how bad race was in 1893, Secret Service was focused on the black guy behind Leon as they approached this line. I mean, he walked through a receiving line, and there was a little girl that was first that he had given something to, and then Leon came up, and the Secret Service people next to him were looking at the black guy. He fires the shots. Guess who tackles Leon?
The black guy.
Do you know who the black guy was? Who? An off-duty cop.
Profiling.
They profiled wrong.
Again.
I think that story is as good as Zeglin's.
It's better.
When profiling turns deadly.
They knew then that it was bad news.
Man, I tell you right now, that's why I don't profile.
Well, you profiled on TV the other day.
Well, I didn't profile that on TV. What are you talking about?
He was on Channel 19 being profiled.
How was I being profiled?
You were the profile.
Oh, I was the profile.
You see, how long did it take for him to get that?
I know. It's
Hey, he was
early.
a smart guy in the room. What happened to you?
I'm not the smartest. A doctor. You know, we become lawyers just because we're not smart enough to become doctors.
I heard that before.
Did you see him shoveling that manure?
Oh, yeah, he shovels it good.
I was impressed.
Yes.
I was shocked.
I know my roots. We come back, Radio Suburban in a rant on Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160, baby. You know, yesterday I went on a rant about an armed march on Washington. Now, I want to stress this. It's like yesterday when I called up that Edgewood police officer and detective and gave her a piece of my mind. My client's mom said, "Can you do that?" I said, "Hell yeah, I can do that." They're not immune. I mean, I can tell them that I can sue them. I mean, they're not, give me a break. You know, what happens is police officers with the badge think they can do anything they want because they, quote-unquote, got a badge, and they intimidate people and bully people. You know what's so funny is they actually talked to a witness and said, "You better stop you better stop trying to intimidate so-and-so, or we're going to charge you with felony intimidation of a witness." The same detective that says that tries to intimidate witnesses. Pretty funny and hypocritical, isn't it?
They have immunity.
But anyway, I know what I'm saying. It's like, for example, I've been on the radio now for like 5 years. I've never been sued for slander or libel, anything that I've said on the radio. Why? Because I know what libel and slander is, and I don't libel and slander people. Well, I also know what the law is. If we were to say something about taking guns to Washington and shooting, killing people, that would be a crime. Okay? The FBI would be at my door. That's not what I'm advocating here, folks. And by the way, I got lots of support, people that understand it. What I'm advocating is this. You look at the quote-unquote peaceful demonstration that Glenn Beck led. And then you look at they tried to mock it, and it was a failure. Stephen Colbert and Jon Stewart, they tried to mock it, and that was a failure. And you look at the Occupy Wall Street, which was a failure. And what I'm advocating is this. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, if you missed yesterday's show, as I reported from USA Today, and it was all across the AP, is this. Our national debt now equals the total national economy. In other words, if you take the sales of Procter & Gamble, Dr. Kurtzman's fees, my legal fees, this radio station's revenues, you take everybody's fees and goods and services in this country, it equals the national debt. That means that we are now in the same boat as Spain, Italy, Portugal, Greece, and on and on. It's a terrible position for us to be in. Just a terrible position. And the projection from Barack Obama in 10 years is the national debt is going to get to $26 trillion, Dr. Kurt. You believe that? 10 years. Now, these same jackwagons, when they were struggling with the debt ceiling, couldn't work out anything to cut $1 trillion of debt. And now there's going to be an automatic cut, half of which is going to be the defense. And you have Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid saying we're not going to touch Social Security, we're not going to touch Medicare. You have all these jackwagons, including Rick Santorum, voted for an unfunded prescription drug bill. And we now have Mitt Romney. Now, I thought to myself, well, this could save us. What could save us is this. The Republicans get the Senate, the Republicans get the White House, and things change. Now, if the Tea Party did not help the Republicans take the House, the spending would even be off the track even more. But it's the Tea Party, and guess who tries to suppress the Tea Party? Doesn't like Tea Party. John Boehner, Eric Cantor, and the leaders of the House. John Boehner has got $41 million coming into his coffers. You think that's because they like his tan? Now, here's the other thing. It's important. The process is so corrupted in Washington. Super PACs, their identities of the people that give to those super PACs are even secret. You also have a situation where Barack Obama bashes Wall Street. Guess who his chief of staffs are? Rahm Emanuel was on the board of Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. Then he had William Daley, J.P. Morgan Chase. Now he's bringing in somebody that was involved in another a company. It goes on and on. The Wall Street's not going to change. The political money, the money has corrupted the process. Now, in a little state like Iowa, yeah, you can go out there and shake hands. If you're running for city council, you can go out and shake hands. But on the national level, the lobbyists and the money and the PACs, or corrupt the process. You got a president, ladies and gentlemen, of the American jury, that wants to raise $1 billion. He raised $700 million last time to run for president. If you did a good job for president, you don't need to raise any money. It speaks for itself. So here's my opinion and here's my thoughts. And I talked to Willie last night, and Willie agreed with me. He said he's talked to John Boehner and said, Boehner, how come you, to Boehner's people, and said, how come you aren't proposing a balanced budget and sticking it up the Democrats' butt? Right now, because in October is the beginning. I'll tell you something. So here's my theory. My theory is the only way to change things, and folks, if you don't think this works, look over to the Middle East. What happened in Libya? What happened in Egypt? It's an uprising is what does it. Now, Occupy Wall Street were nitwits, and they weren't an uprising. What I'm advocating is this. I think we should organize, and I'm being serious. I'm going to try to do this with this little microphone. I think we should, one by one, recruit people who are willing to go to Washington, D.C., and we'll surprise them with the date. No permit. Go to Washington, D.C. Now, somebody said, we ought to use pitchforks, Bulldog. Now, I want guns. We're not going to have loaded guns. In fact, they even thought about this. Everybody go with an unloaded gun, and if it gets out of hand, we'll say, bring in the ammo. But anyway, if I'm convinced that if 10,000 people with a gun showed up on the Washington Memorial, first of all, it's going to make the cops nervous, and I'll guarantee you our military is not going to fire on these people. The national media would be there and everything else. Now, what do you think would happen in Congress and at the White House if they knew 10,000 people showed up with guns? They would wet their pants. They would soil their pants. Now, my favorite quote of all time, and metaphorically, it's great for politics and in business and law, is this. You get more with a kind word and a loaded gun than a kind word alone. Al Capone. Now, let me put that in political reality. If I want Sensible Don's vote, and I just act real nice and say, hey, Don, will you vote for me? Being nice is one thing. Now, if I go up to Sensible Don, and he's working at the city maintenance department, and I go up and I say, hey, Sensible Don, can I have your vote? And by the way, if I win this, I'm going to keep you on. Guess what? I just pointed the gun at him. It was loaded, and I was kind to him, but I had a loaded gun. Don, totally different, isn't it? Totally different if you do that, right? So if we showed up in Washington with 10,000 rational taxpayers, now sure there'll be some nuts, but I'm going to tell you something. They would freak out. Now, I find this interesting because if you look at the historical perspective, guess what? In American history, there was the Whiskey Rebellion. There was the Shays Rebellion. There was a civil rights movement, and I will assert this, Sensible Don and TC. Martin Luther King needed Malcolm X. When Malcolm X was arguing militant action, made Martin Luther King look pretty reasonable, didn't it? In the jail battle in Kenton County, when I was leading the protesters and the marchers, we had this group of people by design that were talking to the judge executive and the commissioners. We were the rowdies, and they were the sensible ones doing the talk. The good cop, bad cop. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, if 10,000 people with guns showed up in Washington, it would scare the hell out of the politicians, and then we'd have somebody come in and say, hey, before this gets out of hand, we got to do some things. And there would be some change. I am of a firm belief that is the only way things are going to change. Because I ask you this, ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, if the debt is this bad, and you got Nancy Pelosi, the minority leader of the House, not wanting to touch Medicare and Social Security, if we know that we're going to have a $24 to $26 trillion debt, the economy has to grow 6% to support what we got now. Ladies and gentlemen, it ain't growing 6%. It ain't even growing 1%. We're doomed. Now, why do we want to wait for our country to go bankrupt? Why don't we do something now to save the country? So why Rush Limbaugh and Bill O'Reilly and Sean Hannity and Laura Ingraham and Michael Savage and all of them do what they do? I'm going to do this. I say armed march on Washington. Not to shoot anybody, to scare the hell out of them. And you know why? Because when you ask with a kind word and a loaded gun, you do a lot better in negotiations. And it's time, in my opinion, to let them know it's this bad. And you know what, folks? It works. It works. Look at Libya. Look at Egypt.
Look at Kent State.
Look what happens.
4 people died.
Yeah, and you know what?
Without guns.
Hey, you know what? Those 4 people died without guns. Change things.
Did they?
And let me tell you something else. We have men, boys, that get sent over to Afghanistan and Iraq to die, TC.
Yep.
They die, okay? Are they changing anything?
Nope. Not a doggone thing.
I'll bet you if people died in Washington, 10,000 group, people would say, hey, we got to change the course of this country on Real Talk 1160.
Don't worry if you miss your daily dose of radio superbity. Bulldog has you covered. Bulldog Nation podcasts are up and running at realtalk1160.com. And now back to the Bulldog.
When Barack Obama was elected president, this is the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160, he just recycled Clinton people through the White House. Larry Summers, Hillary Clinton, the whole bit. And when Mitt Romney's elected president, he's going to recycle Bushites to the White House. And if you think that that what I'm advocating here is something that's un-American, I think it's patriotic. And before I ask Dr. Lawrence Kurtzman from Kurtzman Plastic Surgery and Sensible Don what they think, I just want you to listen to my hero. My hero. Today's the birthday of Alexander Hamilton, who's also my hero, but my favorite founding father of all time, Patrick Henry. Ron Paul's call, his calling card is liberty. Did you hear what he said? You hear what Patrick Henry just said? He said, it is in vain. The political process with the money, the super PACs, the lobbyists, the bought and paid for politicians, the recycling of the political hacks, it is in vain. Is life so dear or peace so sweet that we let America go off a cliff without picking up arms? And I'll tell you this, TC, you peace neck. If a few people died on the Washington Mall, and we changed this country, their lives would not be in vain. And you know what? Besides chains, what's the biggest enslaver? Debt. If you got credit card debt, you know what bankruptcy is? It's getting you out of the slavery of debt. This country is enslaved with a national debt. And we are at the point. Do we go over the cliff or do we come back from the cliff? Dr. Kurtzman, your response to my idea.
Probably a little drastic for me. I like your thoughts and I like how you think.
That's okay, because you know what I like to point out? There's a lot of smart people like you that think what I'm advocating is drastic. And I say this to you, Dr. Kurtzman. Sitting back and not doing anything, you think it's going to change?
Absolutely not.
Then why don't we do something drastic?
Well, it's called the vote. I think we all need to go out there. I think we need to pick the right people. I think we need to back the right people. I think people need to be heard. I think what happens in a lot of these countries in the Middle East, Libya, et cetera, is that people are so downtrodden. It's so bad, they've given up. They say, give me liberty or give me death. So they go to the mall and they say, give me liberty or give me death.
Do we have to let America get that bad?
Unfortunately, I think so.
No. We should not. That's why we need people like me to point out that we should not let it go off the cliff.
I am not disagreeing. I'm just saying that that's how America acts. They act with passivity. They're not proactive.
It pisses me off.
If things aren't too bad, they're okay with it.
I agree with your analysis of Americans, and I disagree that we have to change that. I agree with you. We got to change it.
I absolutely agree with you. We do need to change. I think there's a lot of things that are bad. Things are getting worse. Our current administration came in saying we are going to fix the budget. We are going to fix this. We are going to fix that. It's gotten worse. If this was all, George,
$5 trillion more worse.
Right. If this was George Bush in there, can you imagine how much bad press it would be? I think he's almost like the new Teflon president.
The only bad press he gets is from Fox Cable News.
Yeah, he gets so much good press. He's backed. Getting Kane out of the election helped him for reasons we've talked
Here's
about.
how bad it is. My wife, she thinks Obama's done a good job. My wife, the Bulldog's wife. Don't pick on him.
Well, that's because she's sleeping now. She should be awake listening to your show.
I agree. Sensible Don. By the way, good commentary. My only objection to what you're saying is that's why we need to pick up guns. Go ahead, Sensible
How
Don.
many times have I said it? And you ask me, well, you say that all the time. You get the government that you vote for. If you do not participate in what's going on in this country, you suffer the consequences. A gun won't change the thing. The people with the guns that think they're changing the thing will get the power and do the exact same thing that the people are doing now. Look at your history. From the beginning, it's about getting elected and reelected,
right.
And that takes money. Obama needs $1 billion. Where will he get that $1 billion from?
And by the way, I'm glad you brought that up because here's why I don't think it's going to change with a Republican Senate, a Republican House, and Romney. Because you know what they're immediately going to do? They're immediately going to say, because Congress runs in 2 years, and they're going, in other words, they're constantly running, is they're going to say, well, if we cut Social Security and Medicare like that, we're going to lose the House and Senate next election cycle.
Exactly.
That's the way they think. There's nobody who, you know what? They would rather hold on to power than serve America in the spirit of Cincinnatus as he dropped the plow, saved Rome, and then came back to the plow. They don't have that spirit at all. They just want to hold on to power. And you know what I say this? If you're doing a lousy job and you're running America in the ditch, is it worth holding on to power? You know, are those trips from Michelle that important?
Yes.
And by the way, let me say this. I hate her as bad as I hate Obama. She's the winch behind the throne. And let me tell you something. The new book, The Obamas, prove that. If you don't like Valerie Jarrett or you don't like Michelle Obama, look out. We got a woman wearing the pants of a wimpy community organizer.
You know what you voted for.
She is. Remember, this is the first time. She hates America. This is the first time I've been proud of America. Oh, she's only proud because she's been hating America all her life. And the only time she likes America is when she can take vacation after vacation after vacation.
She loves America now.
Dr. Kurtzman, your comment.
Almost speechless. And it goes way back in history. I mean, it's speak softly and carry a big stick.
TR, baby.
TR. I think people need to get out there. They need to get their voice heard. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen. I think that we're just too passive a people. And until things get really bad and people lash out, things are not going to change.
Look.
I think with Congress, you're right. People that just want to get reelected. Maybe we should have some term limits, so it's like once and out, 6 years, whatever it is for president, instead of all this reelection crap. And they spend 2 years just trying to appease the American people.
Can I ask you a personal question?
You may.
What is your heritage?
My heritage is Russian.
Russian?
Russian.
Are you Russian Jewish?
Yes.
All right. Russian Jews are badass people. I like Netanyahu. I knew you were Jewish. Netanyahu, who says, you know what? Everybody loved Israel and the Jews when we were passive. And now that we're tough guys, people don't like us. And I'm like, good for you that you finally realize the time for the Jewish people to be passive should be over. Let me tell you about my heritage. I got German in my blood, which gives me that work ethic I've got. And on my mama's side, I got Scotch-Irish in my blood. That's where all the passion and fire. You know who else was Scotch-Irish? Andy Jackson was Scotch-Irish. 95% of the people that fought in the American Revolution were Scotch-Irish. 95% of the people that fought for the South were Scotch-Irish. Patton was Scotch-Irish. Reagan was Scotch-Irish. Let me tell you something. I say this. It's in my blood, the passion. And you know what Scotch-Irish do? We don't like the big power. We like the clan. We like the idea of local control, not big government. And let me tell you something. You look at Braveheart. You look what he did, what he stood for, and the freedom and liberty that we need in this country, William Wallace. And let me tell you something. I got this thing, and my mom's from Hardin County, Kentucky, so I got hillbilly blood in me. So what I'm exuding forth behind this microphone is the realization that my very core being, the blood that runs through my vein, says we don't take crap. And you know what? Don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining. What's going on in this country when I sit there and see David Axelrod go on all the Sunday news programs and all of the spinners and say, oh, it's going great. Unemployment's only this and this and this is going great. And I'm thinking, How much is the debt and where are we headed? I mean, it is remarkable. They want Americans, like you say, to be sheep. I refuse to be a sheep. I shall be a bulldog.
We need more bulldogs.
I hope every dog has their day. Sensible Don, have I gone off the rocker?
Yes, you have. You're off the tracks and going downhill.
I think you're doing great.
We'll be back tomorrow on Real Talk 1160.